Hi friends, so we are now working on the Gary Marshall Theater, which is an AutoCAD import and conversion assignment, okay? So one of the things we frequently do as a designer is we'll get 2D drafting either as an AutoCAD file or just a 2D drafting in a Vectorworks file, and we'll need to convert that into a 3D Vectorworks drawing, and that is what we will be doing today. So this skill is super valuable. This level unlocks jobs for money, for sure. And it will take you some time, so plan accordingly. So the first thing you'll do is download two files, the XPlan and XSec, which is your plan and section view of the template of the theater that you've received from wherever. And then you'll come into Vectorworks and we'll start a new file. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new file from my template. And I actually want your template to make sure we see the same things. Great. We are on right now the scenery layer. That's not gonna particularly matter. And then I'm going to first save it as our project file. So let me navigate back to the Vectorworks class and we'll save this. Great. Save. Okay, great. Now we're here. The first thing we're going to do is import these two files, right? The two that I just showed you, and we'll come to the import menu. We will be importing a single DXF or DWG. So DWG is the drawing file that you'll get from a AutoCAD drafter. So let's go locate those on our desktop. And there we go. So let's start with the plan. We'll open that. It's going to import it. We want it to obviously use inches. We're going to let it do its own thing, right, for the most part. And then we're going to say, okay. It's going to want to swap some random fonts out. That's fine. We say, okay. And import has succeeded. There is our file, okay? So that is now XPlan on its own layer, and it's also brought in a whole bunch of different classes. You'll see them because they're all caps. Those all caps classes are your Vectorworks conversion from AutoCAD classes, okay? You'll also see a lot of things are different neon colors. That's common with CAD drafting because their classes typically determine line weight and they use bright colors to differentiate. But in any case, there's our plan. And then the next thing we're going to go grab is our section view. Same process, import, single, section, okay. And it's going to do its own thing and I'm fine with that. We bring it all in and we say, okay. All right. So now we have our whole section view, our whole plan view. I am going to select all on that section view and I'm just going to slide it over a little bit so that they're not intersecting with each other. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to my plan view, right? Make sure that's all happy. I will turn on, make sure all of my classes are on, and they are. So now we're seeing all of the possible layers that exist on these files. The next thing I want to do is actually check in on my XSec and XPlan files and make sure that they have come in at an appropriate layer scale, okay? So if you double click on your little layers thing, right, you will see that all of our layers are in 1:48, which is standard quarter inch scale. And these two guys are in 1:50, which is slightly different. So we are actually going to edit those and make sure that they are scaled correctly. So they will want to be scaled at quarter inch scale, which is 1:48. And we say okay, right? We're gonna do the same thing here, edit, and change that scale to quarter inch. Okay. All right, so that has helped us now in setting all of those scales to be the same. If we skip that step, then you're gonna find your stuff doesn't match up and the measurements are all weird and it's not gonna work out for us, okay? So those two files are now over here in our design layers. The next thing I'm gonna do, just to help with my brain as I'm drafting, is I'm going to flip this whole theater upside down, right? The reason being, I frequently, when I work in 3D, I'll hit Shift C and I'll tip up like that, and I want the upstage wall to be away from me, right? And if in this case, the upstage wall is closest to me, so in order to look into the stage space, I would have to spin the whole drawing around, and I just don't want that to be my life. So I'm gonna do that before I do anything else. I'm gonna leave everything turned on for that step. I'm even going to select all, right? So if I select all with this setting here to gray snap others, right? What that is going to do is it's only going to select the things that are on the layer that I'm working on. So again, this is in your layer options, right? You can choose show snap others, but if you choose show snap modify others, then it's gonna select everything, and I don't really want that. So I'm just gonna use gray snap others so that I can still see this, I can still snap to things on this layer, but most of my stuff, right, is now focusing on the layer I'm working on. And that's gonna be the setting you want for this whole project. So I have selected all, Command A, and I'm gonna grab my rotate tool. I'm gonna make sure I'm in this standard mode, which rotates the object and not duplicating it, just rotating it. I'm gonna pick something along the center line, somewhere in the middle, right? So the tip of the stage is usually a good spot. I'm gonna grab a straight line down from there and I hold Shift to make sure that it's straight. And then I just rotate around, and now my theater is right side up, okay? Wow, yay. Okay, so those are my initial setup steps, okay? The next thing I'm gonna need to do is come in and turn off some of these extra layers that are not helping me to see clearly what we're looking at, okay? So if you zoom in a little bit, you're gonna see text layers to show you where catwalks are, where it's open to below. You see all of these bright pink layers, right? These are like acoustical panels on the sides of the stage. And then you see the regular business of the theater space, okay? So I'm gonna come in over on my classes and I'm gonna turn off acoustical. That's gonna just pull out all of that pink and leave me with a much clearer picture of my walls. I'm also going to turn off the catwalks for now. If you get to the point where you are drafting in lighting positions, then you'll bring those back on. And then lastly, I'm going to find the labels. Let's see what they are called. Text, right? And I'm going to turn off the labels just for now. So I have my center line still. I have all of my basic walls, right? Of various dimensions. I have some doors. I have some other theater architectural pieces, right? But the core of it is now much, much cleaner and easier for us to read, okay? So that is our preparation step. Let's go ahead and save. And then our next step is going to be to go in and start building in 3D this space, okay? And we will be tracing the existing lines to do that. So I will come right back in another video about tracing the plan view and then setting up your walls and